A very pleasant evening to all of you. I, CA Kalpana Thakur, welcome you all on our 30th episode of Friday Fleet, an initiative of women empowerment. Today's episode is one of the important episodes because those of you who are aware, we are about to mark completion on our speaker hunt. And 10 episode we have started to have speaker from our own community, and soon we will have celebration of the same. Coming back to today's topic, ESG. Now the days have come when we, as a member, as a fraternity, not only we, in fact, all of us, not only interested to look after the numbers in the financial statement, but holistically what the companies are contributing socially, environmentally, and how they are into governance. I will not speak much about the topic because we have our esteemed speaker, CA Anushri Garg, to deliberate the topic. Before giving her the podium for her deliberation, I will take few minutes to introduce our speaker today, CA Anushri Garg. She is a practicing chartered accountant. She is a partner in the firm Suraj Garg and Associates. She has been practicing since 9 years in the field of GST, service tax, statutory and tax audit, direct taxation, and making representation before tax authorities. She is also an identified faculty for GST by Indirect Tax Committee of ICAI. She is also a certified ESG professional and aids in implementation of ESG in businesses. She has a good command over the BRSR reporting framework for ESG in India. In the past, she was also associated with the law firm Chir Amrit Legal LLP as indirect and direct tax consultant. She was also engaged with the CA firm Gupta Rajiv and Associate and its sister concern Professional Softtech Private Limited in giving consultancy for development of software related to taxation and financial statement. So there are too many feathers in her cap to read on, but I have summarized it in a short considering our time. And without further delay, as we all of are gathered here to hear you on ESG, Anushri, so over to you. And I would request to all of the participants, if you have any query, please post it in the chat box or in Q&A. And at the end of the session, we will have Q&A. Thank you. Over to you, Anushri.
Thank you, CA Kalpana-ji. So, first of all, thank you for inviting me to be a speaker on this platform of Friday Fleet. Many thanks for the opportunity. And I would love to interact with all the participants and CAs present here. So ESG is a new topic coming up, and the concept has started since 2012 itself when BRSR reporting was introduced in India. But now it is gaining momentum since the reporting part of it has been made mandatory since the last 2-3 years. So I'll just start my screen sharing. I'll just share the PPT. So I hope it is visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. So I came across one of this banner at one of the airports in India. What does it say? Your airport uses eco-certified cleaning products devoid of harmful toxins. Then your airport is carbon neutral certified. And it used to say that it is the first Indian airport to publish sustainability reports as per GRI standards. So look at the kind of claims and kind of publicity that the airports are doing and all the other public places, if you notice, they'll be doing something regarding sustainability. So till now, even if they were doing, they were not showcasing it. And now the ones who were not doing it have also started doing it because it has become a mandate now. So we don't notice these things at places, but when I entered this field 2, 3 years back, all to my surprise, people have started working in these areas already, and a lot of listed companies, since it is mandatory for the top 1,000 listed companies, the reporting part, they are already doing a lot for this. So let us see what all is happening. So while going through the LinkedIn posts a few days back, I noticed this mobile phone, and it is from some foreign country. So the when this new mobile was launched, along with that phone, a sustainability report of the phone was also launched, showing that the material of the phone is made with sustainable materials. Then 100% recycled aluminium, mild mid frame power buttons and volume buttons, they're all made of 100% recycled aluminium. So this will be the future of our market and our products, that whenever a product is being launched, we will have to show its impact, and the impact of the product on the environment and its social aspect also, and governance aspect also, along with the launch of the product, along with its packaging. Then only the product will be preferred by the at least the corporates who are into sustainability, and slowly it will come down to the mainstream, to the MSMEs, and then to the other smaller companies, slowly and gradually. Okay. Then we all know about Apple iPhone, right? So in the iPhone 13 that had come, what did Apple company claim? It said that by just eliminating the layer of plastic over an iPhone box, they could reduce 600 metric tons of plastic wrap. So you can see this box, the white box in which the Apple phone iPhone is packed. So the outer layer of plastic over it that used to be there, from iPhone 13, they've discontinued the practice of wrapping it with the plastic. And by just doing that, they have saved this much ton of plastic. So small initiatives by these kind of companies, they lay a huge impact in positive terms towards the environment. Now, let us understand what is, after seeing all these examples, what is actually ESG. So, it is a framework that helps stakeholders understand. And what do the stakeholders understand from ESG? एक organization में what are they doing about the environment? What are they doing about the social aspect? The social aspect comprises of your employees, the other stakeholders, जैसे कि आपके investors, customers, suppliers, then the community at large to whom you're serving. Environment, we all know, जो भी organization अपने products, अपनी life cycle, अपने services से emissions करता है, greenhouse gas emissions or waste management or pollution, water harvesting, all these factors, they fall into the environmental aspect. So because of activities of an organization, all these things that happen, the greenhouse gas emissions, waste management, they all fall into the environmental aspect. And into the governance aspects, the जो organization की management की policies होती हैं, जो incentives होते हैं, stakeholder expectations होते हैं, how do you align your stakeholder expectations with the practice of the organizations in such a way that they are they contribute to ESG. Then the internal controls that exist, are they strong enough? The governance part is strong enough to cater to an environment which is sustainable in future. So what all can fall into the environmental element? We have climate change, greenhouse gas emissions, energy efficiency, biodiversity. Then we have the recycling processes. Social में हम बात किस चीज की करेंगे? Chemical safety, supply chain, privacy and data security, equality, diversity. And governance, in governance, बोर्ड कॉम्पोजिशन आपका जो आजकल प्रिवेंशन ऑफ सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट POSH की जो regulations है they are becoming more and more important every day and reporting on it is also becoming compulsory. Then your ethical standards, pay for performance, that is whatever you perform you should be paid for it regardless of your gender. Then why is ESG important? So first of all, corporate reputation. So when you show that you are doing your practices, you're selling your products and offering your services in a way that are sustainable, that you care for the future generations also, that when you leave this environment in this world for the future generations, you are giving a something good to them in terms of the social community also, in terms of the environment also, and in terms of the governance aspect also. We should leave a better world for our future generations. So corporate reputation कैसे होएगी? If you are following sustainable practices, then you will be certainly recognized for those practices by the society, by your customers, and your investors will also be able to notice that, and you will have better investors in your hand. Then risk reduction. So there'll be reduced disruptions and losses because if you care for the environment will care for you. Greater workforce productivity and organization resilience. So the social aspect takes care of the workforce. It focuses on gender equality, maternity leaves, paternity leaves, all these aspects. So this is how if you focus on these things, then your workforce will also be more productive. Identification of new markets, customers, products, services, and revenue streams. So these are all cultural and intrinsic values because of which ESG is important. Then we move on to greenwashing. So greenwashing is a concept which tells you why ESG was needed in the first place. Why हर चीज के पीछे कोई ना कोई रीजन कोई ना कोई लॉजिक होता है. Whenever some reporting is there, whenever some law comes up, it is with some background of why that law was needed in the first place. So why was ESG needed in the first place? It is because of the cases of greenwashing that happened. So greenwashing, exactly what does this term mean? Let us understand it. So it is a deceptive marketing practice used by companies and organizations. And what does this deceptive market practice show? It shows that the organization is environmentally conscious, and by showing this, they present a good picture, good public image to their customers. But actually, they are not doing that environmentally conscious practice. They're just showing it behind the back. It is not leading to any change for the environment, social governance aspect. So, in other words, providing a misleading impression that a company's products, policies, or operations they are sustainable, they are environment friendly, then they actually are. In simple words, this is what greenwashing means. And what does greenwashing lead to? So there are many negative effects of greenwashing. Some of these we can have a look. So there's loss of consumer trust. So if your consumer is buying your product or taking your service with the faith that they are sustainable, but actually it is not, so then it will lead to loss of consumer trust. Then obviously your reputation is damaged. There's a loss of revenue and you have a competitive disadvantage. Employee disengagement can be there, and legal consequences are obviously everywhere. All these greenwashing practices, they led to some good legal cases, and we'll just discuss those cases. So, Dieselgate. This was one of the famous greenwashing scandal by the Volkswagen company. What happened in this scandal? So, in September 2015, the Environment Protection Agency, that is there in the USA, it announced that Volkswagen had violated the Clean Air Act that is there. And how did it violate the act? उन्होंने एक इलीगल सॉफ्टवेयर इंस्टॉल कर दिया था अपनी डीजल व्हीकल्स में. वो सॉफ्टवेयर क्या करता था? जब भी इंजन या व्हीकल टेस्ट मोड में होता था, जब भी वो लेबोरेटरी में होता था अंडर टेस्टिंग कंडीशंस, it used to mark that it is in testing conditions right now, and it switched to a safety mode. तो सेफ्टी मोड में जो वो सॉफ्टवेयर रिजल्ट्स देता था, that were well below the threshold limits emissions set by the US agencies. और जैसे ही वो व्हीकल रोड पे जाता था, once it was on the road, the engine switched out of this test mode. And what did the agencies find out? They found out that the emissions were the nitrogen oxide pollutants. They were emitted up to 40 times above what was allowed in the US. So because of this, many vehicles had to be called back by the Volkswagen company. And there was a lot of loss of reputation at a very big scale. So this is how greenwashing cases are happening. And mainly the large corporates are involved in all these scandals. So they have a huge impact. So the consequences of this scandal were that they threatened people's health because there were nitrogen oxide pollutants beyond a certain level which was allowed. Then there was slump in workforce bonus because obviously many people had discontinued with Volkswagen. Then there was drop in their sale, plunge in their shares, and there was a hassle obviously for the dealers because many vehicles were being called back. So there's another case from Coles and Walmart. What did they do? They violated the Textile Fiber Products Identification Act. इसमें उन्होंने क्या किया, उनके जो प्रोडक्ट्स थे, they advertised them as bamboo products. तो उन्होंने बोला कि ये प्रोडक्ट्स हमारे रेयॉन के हैं और ये बैम्बू के प्रोडक्ट्स हैं एक्चुअल में. सो रेयॉन, जो उनके प्रोडक्ट्स रेयॉन के थे बट दे एडवर्टाइज देम एज बैम्बू, उससे क्या हुआ, रेयॉन इज एक्चुअली प्रोड्यूस्ड यूजिंग अ केमिकल प्रोसेस जिसमें कि आप टॉक्सिक केमिकल्स यूज करते हो और उनसे हजार्डस पोल्यूटेंट्स इमिट होते हैं. सो जो प्रोडक्ट्स रेयॉन के थे उनको बैम्बू की तरह एडवर्टाइज करके दे कैमोफ्लेज दिस थिंग, जो केमिकल प्रोसेस होता है और जो टॉक्सिक केमिकल्स निकलते हैं, they tried to hide that. And why did they do so? Because by showcasing their products as bamboo products, they were able to show that we are following sustainable practices, but in actual they were not following it. So they made this violation despite some earlier warning from the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, in 2010. And because of that, they had got orders to pay millions in civil penalties. And because of that, many obligations were imposed. They had to satisfy many certifications. They had to start keeping many certifications, and rigorous record keeping requirements were also laid on them for being transparent. Now, there's another case from H&M and Decathlon. So what did they do? They were governed by this Netherlands Authority for Consumer Markets, ACM. When ACM investigated their products, it was found that H&M and this Decathlon, they used to advertise their products using eco design in conscious terms without specifying clearly the sustainability benefits. तो Decathlon क्या करता था? It used the environmental labeling system जो products को grade करता था, ranging between A and E. But when the authorities investigated, they had no proper explanation that what category the product A, like जो प्रोडक्ट एक कैटेगरी में फॉल करे, what benefits did it have for the environment and why was it graded as A. So they were just showing their products as graded between A and E, but they had no proper explanation, which means without framing a proper policy for the grading, without framing a proper environmental labeling system, they were just following a greenwashing practice. Then the ACM also pointed out that the companies use the Higgs index to make claims about organic cotton. However, it had a very small environmental impact, and they had no evidence to back up their claim. Then again, because of all these practices, H&M and Decathlon had to donate a good amount to the authorities, and they had to work towards causes linked to sustainability in the fashion industry. So what happens in India, there are fines and penalties, but in abroad, apart from the fines and penalties, the authorities make you do good for your industry. So only apart from only levying fines and penalties, they give you some responsibility to contribute to the industry itself, like uh, contributing to the fashion industry sustainably. Like if you have schools in USA and all, there instead of giving punishment to the students directly, they are made to clean the school premises. They are made to do social work, which teaches them beyond the punishment. So, to curb all these practices for laying checks on greenwashing, what all did we have? Uh, so, transparency and honesty. This was the aim that when reporting started for ESG, so authorities made sure that the reporting should be made in such a way that the company should give transparent data and honest data. Then third party certifications were imposed so that whatever claims, whatever environmental conscious claims the company are making, they are certified by a third party first, and then only the companies are able to make those claims. Then quantifiable data. So whatever data the company are presenting for the environmental ESG aspect, whatever data they are saying that suppose we have helped these much of employees, we have given so much of maternity leave to the employees, we have cleaned so many rivers. So all that data was said to be, the authorities said that you have to quantify this data and you have to report this data. Then avoiding vague terminology. So standards were developed, reporting frameworks were developed, and to lay some benchmarks for the purpose of reporting so that everyone is reporting in a similar manner and the investors and the stakeholders are able to understand the reports. Life cycle assessments were started. So, the life cycle assessment of a product from its cradle to its grave, like from the inception of the product to its end point of selling the product, the assessment of the life cycle, that what is happening from the ESG aspect at every stage of the life cycle. Then, brand consistency, engagement with stakeholders were involved, continuous improvement of the process, avoiding overstating impact, that is making false claims, and educating the consumers also so that they do not believe the false claims and they are conscious about what is available in the market. So after we have discussed the basic concept of ESG, what it is and why it was needed because of the greenwashing practices that were there, now we come to how did the authorities come up with the reporting process and what is the reporting process in India. So, this is from the Union Budget 2024-25, the last budget that came up. So, even the budget had it was named as the Bharat budget. So, even that was addressing some aspects related to climate change and sustainability. So, there are some initiatives that were there in the budget, and I'll just lay some light on them. So, rooftop solar plants to enable 1 crore households obtain free electricity up to 300 units every month. So this was one of the plans of the Viksit Bharat budget. Then there was a joint venture between NTPC and BHEL was proposed to set up a full-scale 800 megawatt commercial plant. That commercial plant, what will it do? It will use the advanced ultra super critical technology. Then there's a whole set of now Indian carbon market. So carbon trading is happening just like we trade in shares and other securities. Carbon trading has started happening. So what is carbon trading basically? Suppose a company can emit up to 100 units of carbon. Now the company in actual it has emitted just 80 units of carbon. So the difference, the 20 units that the company has, which it was allowed to emit, but it has controlled that those 20 units will be carbon credits. So those 20 units can be then traded in the market. The companies that are short of carbon credit and they emit beyond their limit they can buy those credits and set off their over emissions. So this is what carbon trading is in layman language in brief. So Indian carbon market is has come up, and many sectors where a lot of carbon is emitted, such as shipping, aviation, iron, steel, and chemicals, they are being diverted from the current perform, achieve, and trade mode to the Indian carbon market mode. That is, they should not only focus on performance and earning profits, but also towards emitting less carbon. Then investment grade energy audit of micro and small industries. So these were some of the main pointers of the Viksit Bharat budget, focusing on sustainability. Now, if we go ahead, this is just an example of the level of reporting regarding waste, which is required in the BRSR report. So just look at it, have a look at it. The reporting that is needed for waste is classified into plastic waste, e-waste, biomedical waste, construction demolition waste, battery waste, radioactive waste, other hazardous waste. So look at the number of line items that are there and that are being asked in terms of just waste. So this is just one point of the BRSR report. If I'll take you to the through the whole BRSR report in the upcoming slides. I'll show you the BRSR report. So this kind of reporting is required. This level of reporting is required, and just imagine the data which is to be maintained for this reporting. Only the large corporates, even they are finding difficulty to maintain all this data, to extract all this data, because till now this is not to be reported. So this was just being followed, but not data for it was not being collected and reported. And now assurance has been started for some of the points in BRSR report, and it is going to increase in the coming years. So where assurance comes, we CAs come into picture. The role of CAs comes in. So with this, let me describe the journey of sustainability reporting in Indian landscape. ये कहाँ से स्टार्ट हुई थी? सो इन 2009 ये नेशनल वॉलंटरी गाइडलाइंस थी जो कि एमसीए ने इशू की. These were related to corporate social responsibility. Then in 2012, business responsibility report came up, and it was mandatory for top 100 listed companies by market cap, and this report was governed by SEBI, the reporting framework. So this BRR used to go with the annual report. So from 2012 itself, the reporting had started. In 2014, we all know when the Companies Act 2013 had come up. After that, in 2014, mandatory CSR provisions had come, and all the companies had to follow this on whom it was applicable mandatorily. Then in 2015, BRR was broadened, and it became mandatory for top 500 listed companies from the 100 earlier. In 2017, integrated reporting framework had come up, but only voluntary adoption was there by the top 500 companies. It was not mandatory. Integrated reporting is another kind of reporting framework like BRSR. It's an international one, but it was not followed that much in India later. So in 2019, again, national guidelines on responsible business conduct came up. These principles are very important. Based on these principles, only the whole format of current BRSR report is based. And on each principle, there are certain set of questions which have to be answered in the BRSR report. So BRR reporting was also extended to top 1,000 listed companies in 2019 with the introduction of NGRBCs. Then in 2021, BRSR was introduced by SEBI. So till 2019 and 2020 was the last reporting year for in the form of BRR. From 2021, BRSR report was launched, which is being followed currently also. In 2023, BRSR reports were published by the listed companies, and the new guidelines were released for this report by SEBI. So, one thing I told you was these NGRBCs. These principles are very important for the BRSR report currently being followed. And another thing is these sustainable development goals. These goals have been framed by the United Nations and they are followed across the globe by all the organizations. So they are common and they are on a global front. So it is not particular to one country. And you will see in our BRSR report, also the Indian BRSR reports, that every reporting under every principle and every question is linked to these goals. Every question will show that this question, this response is linked to this goal of SDG. So these are that important. I'll just read some of them. So, first Sustainable Development Goal talks about no poverty. Second is about zero hunger. Third is about good health and well being. Fourth is about quality education. Then we have some for life below water. Climate action. Climate action is a very important goal. And partnership for the goals, peace, justice, and strong institutions. This is for the on the like peace between the countries, avoiding wars, the main role that the United Nations plays for maintaining peace and justice between the countries. This 16th goal focuses on all that. Then five pillars of SDGs have been given. So, people is one of the goals to end poverty in all forms and ensure dignity and equality for all people. Then we have peace, planet, protecting the planet's natural resources, partnership. So nothing can be implemented on an individual basis alone. So we need to collaborate with many people. The countries need to come together for this ESG agenda. So partnership is one of the pillars. Then we have prosperity, that is ensuring prosperous and fulfilling life in harmony with nature. So, moving forward, this is again the linkage of the pillars and the principles. So, which goal is connected to which pillar that is there. So, for example, people ending poverty and hunger is linked to goal number one, no poverty of SDG, goal number two, zero hunger, and so on. Then the NGRBC principles that I was talking about, there are 9 principles. So this is like the backbone of BRSR report. The whole BRSR report is based on these principles. So principle one is talks about conduct and govern themselves with ethics, transparency, and accountability. So all the businesses should follow transparency and accountability in their operations. Principle two talks about goods and services that are safe and contribute to sustainability. Similarly, principle 3 is about well-being of employees. Principle 4 क्या बोलता है? It says that you have to be responsive to all your stakeholders. आपको सबका ध्यान रखना है. Principle 5 promotes human rights. Principle 6 talks about restoring the environment. Principle 7 talks about influencing public and regulatory policies. जब आप public policies और regulatory policies का काम करते हो तो you should do it responsibly. Then principle 8, inclusive growth and equitable development. So everyone should grow together. Principle 9, providing value to your consumers. So every business should strive for this, should aim at providing value to consumers, and not only in the way that we provide today with the profit motive, but in a responsible manner. Now, what is the importance of NGRBC? So business ethics, it focuses on business ethics और वो encourage करता है कि आप ethical business practices follow करो. Then it promotes the corporate social responsibility, supports SDGs, enhances stakeholder trust, competitive advantage होता है because if you follow these sustainability practices, you have an edge over the others who are not following it. Corporate governance is strengthened and environmental concerns are addressed. So with this, I'll be moving on to BRSR. We'll discuss its format and various sections. BRR top 1000 listed companies के लिए mandatory थी. BRR was there, sorry, up till financial year 2021. From 21-22, BRSR had come up. This is a more refined version of the BRR report that was there earlier. BRSR top 1000 listed companies के लिए थी और BRSR was made mandatory in from financial year 22-23 onwards. पहले ये based थी NVG guidelines पे. Then they were replaced with NGRBC principles जो हमने अभी अभी discuss किए थे. Now BRSR has two types of formats. एक comprehensive format होता है, एक light format होता है. So comprehensive is the whole detailed format. Light is a shorter version of that, brief version of that. So a light version was planned by MCA for the smaller companies, and comprehensive one was planned by SEBI for the bigger companies. But light format is only in the white papers till now. It has not been implemented. So quantitative and both qualitative data both will be included in the information of BRSR. Then SEBI ने क्या किया? SEBI also introduced guidance notes on मतलब SEBI ने industry wide guidance notes publish किए on every industry like aviation industry, shipping industry, chemical industry, so that everyone knows how should they collect data for BRSR report, because it's not easy for every industry एकदम से to collect data. जैसे अभी हमने waste का example देखा था. So to calculate radioactive waste, to calculate chemical waste, to calculate hazardous waste, इनमें से बहुत सारी चीजें हर कंपनी पे applicable भी नहीं होंगी. So that's why SEBI came up with industry-wise guidance notes. तो जिस पे जो applicable है, how to collect data for that particular part, how to present it, and how to report it efficiently. That was there in the guidance note. Then BRSR में कितने sections हैं? So we have section A, which talks about general disclosures. This is all about the basic details of the entity. So section B then talks about the management and process disclosures. This is for information which involves questions related to oversight, governance, and leadership issues, basically. And then section C is the most important one. इसमें NGRBC के जो 9 principles हैं, हर principle पे there are a set of questions. So principle wise questions are there, and they all have to be, not all, they have classified into essential indicators and the leadership indicators. So in essential indicators, all the questions have to be answered, they are mandatory. And in leadership indicators, they are voluntary. The companies can start reporting on them as and when they are ready for it. So essential indicators के examples क्या हैं? उसमें data है जैसे कि energy, emissions, water, waste, trainings conducted, and all these things. Leadership indicators में we have reporting related to breakdown of energy consumption, health, safety, all these things. Again, there are some benefits of BRSR, but let us move to the other slides. These are general. BRSR core we have, and it is a subset of BRSR. So BRSR core is a subset of the comprehensive BRSR, and there are a set of key performance indicators. So all these KPIs are very important. So up from the whole comprehensive BRSR report, a certain part of it was identified as being BRSR core, जिसमें कि important KPIs होती हैं जिन पे reporting आपको करनी ही करनी है. तो Indian context में ये KPIs किस चीज से related हैं? The KPIs are related to things such as job creation in small towns, business openness, and gross wages paid to women. So these are some of the examples of the KPIs in BRSR core. And they are all connected to BRSR. They'll have a cross reference that which question of BRSR it is. BRSR core में और क्या है? We have GHG, greenhouse gas footprint, water footprint, energy footprint, gender diversity, employee well-being and safety, waste management, inclusive development. That is, you source your products from MSMEs also, apart from the large corporates. Fairness in engaging with customers and suppliers, and openness of business. So these are the main attributes of BRSR core. So companies have to, by these attributes, the SEBI means that you the company on which BRSR reporting is compulsory, they have to definitely take steps in all these 9 areas. The other areas, they should start taking steps and start reporting whenever it is possible. But these 9 areas, they have to take steps and they have to report definitely. There's a glide path for BRSR core, the compliance timeline. So for the top 1,000 listed companies in India by market cap, reporting of BRSR core KPIs. ये कब से mandatory है? So financial 23-24 was the first year for the top 1,000 companies to report on the BRSR core KPIs, the 9 attributes that we just saw. Then it'll be same till 26-27. However, the assurance for these KPIs, that will be mandatory for the top 150. Like the last year, it was mandatory for top 150 companies, and now from the next year, it will be for top 250, 500, and 1,000, so on. So, just give me a second. Yes. So, going forward for the value chain disclosures for BRSR core KPIs, it will be from financial year 24-25, that is the current year that is going on. So, for year ended 31st March 2025, it will be mandatory for the top 250 companies. And then we have limited assurance for the value chain disclosures. That will be mandatory for the top 250 companies from 25-26. So look at how our role will increase wherever assurance is starting. पहले reasonable assurance है for the BRSR core KPIs, and then limited assurance है for value chain disclosures. Value chain disclosures क्या हैं? जो भी आपके upstream और downstream partners हैं, your the vendors who are involved in your purchase process, and then the vendors who are involved in your selling process. They are your upstream and downstream partners in the value chain. So whether they are also following sustainable practices, whether the listed company is choosing those vendors who are following sustainable practices, for that also limited assurance will start. And it will be on a comply or explain basis. So there's a difference between mandatory and comply or explain. Comply or explain says या तो आप उससे comply कर दो, otherwise explain that why you have not complied और आप कब से comply करोगे. So this is comply or explain basis. So this is some data that which companies and how many companies adopted BRSR. So financial services companies were there, like 200 financial services companies were there who adopted BRSR. And then we have consumer goods companies, then information technology companies, Infosys and all as the main ones. So I'll show you extracts from the published BRSR reports now. So this BRSR report is from Hindustan Unilever Limited. It see what all components are there. So first of all, it is talking about principle 3. जो हमने NGRBC के principles discuss किए थे, उसमें से third principle पे questions हैं. This is the fourth and fifth question.
Anushri, we are
And
not able to see the screens. Still, that compliance timeline slide is there on the screen.
okay, so now,
Yeah, now it is changing.
Okay, so I was speaking about this slide. Uh, this is an extract of the BRSR report of Hindustan Unilever Limited. Uh, these questions are under Principle 3 of NGRBC that I was talking about. And it is an essential indicator, that is, these questions are mandatory. And then you can see the linkage with the SDGs here. These are the 17 SDGs that we discussed. So it says that Principle 3 is linked to SDG 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, and so on. So, what does the question say? Does the entity have an equal opportunity policy as per the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act? Okay. So, what is HUL saying regarding it? That we have a clear goal to have 5% of our workforce represented by people with disabilities by 2025. They have taken certain steps, and with this, they'll be able to achieve this goal by 2025. So, just one question here from the participants. You can all type in the chat box if it is enabled. So, or you can, just think of it. So, any of you have come across any of the cases while, shopping or when you are at any public place, that how are they, providing opportunity to people with disability? Have you ever noticed any such thing? Have you noticed any change in any of the big companies that you visit? So I'll share one example. In lifestyle stores, if you visited, at the billing counter, there's always one person who is not able to hear. So along with him, the other people at the billing counter, either they help him or that person does the billing through he uses the calculator to write the billing amount, and to communicate with the consumer, he keeps a notepad and a pen. And if he has any issue, then his colleagues on either of these sides, they help him. So this is how lifestyle has made a move to give employment to a person with disability, and which is evident if you visit the lifestyle stores. If you start noticing, you will notice that many such things are happening, and many big companies are taking such steps. Return to work and retention rates of permanent employees and workers. So, permanent employees, see the ratio male and female. So, for both of them in totality, the ratio was 99.2%. And for the permanent employees and for the permanent workers, the retention rate was 99.5%. So, it is less for the females and 100% for the males. But since reporting has been made compulsory on this, the companies lay their focus on improving this ratio, this rate every year. So this is how BRSR reporting is laying an impact, and assurance on it will ensure that all this is happening actually. So going forward, Reliance Industries Limited की ये report है. इसमें से it is talking about Principle 6, Section C of the BRSR report, and again it is an essential indicator. What does it ask? Briefly describe the waste management practices adopted in your establishments. So, or strategy. So, what is Reliance saying for it? We have made agreements with cement plants and dispose waste for co-processing in their plants as alternative fuels and raw materials. All our manufacturing sites are members of Common Hazardous Waste Facility, where the remaining waste are disposed. So they have made arrangements with one facility for all waste disposal. अगर उनका कुछ remaining waste होता है तो वो ये alternate waste facility है जिनसे उन्होंने arrangement करा है, और बाकी जो और waste है that is disposed to registered parties for recycle and recovery. So they are trying that all their waste is either reduced or reused or it is recycled. Then another one from HUL. It is disclosure related to water. In this, HUF is claiming that It has created a cumulative and collective water potential of over 2.6 trillion liters, which is equal to what? It is more than the quantity required to meet the drinking water needs of India's population for nearly 2 years. So, this is what HEF is claiming through the water policies and all that it has framed for its conservation, restoration, recharge, and reuse. Now, I'll take you for another 2-3 minutes through some of the interesting concepts, and then maybe we can open it for questions. So there are some interesting ESG terms and initiatives which I guess either would be new for you, or if even if you have heard them, they are not that popular in the market right now. So solar paint, uh, we all have heard of paints, and we all use the best quality paints when we construct our homes and offices. But have you heard of solar paint ever? Then there is carbon free cement. So one major industry, the construction industry, which uses a lot of cement, and cement is one of the biggest contributor to carbon emissions. For that, carbon free cement is there. So many startups have come up who are producing carbon free cement. The problem is it is costly right now. So for everything that is there in the ESG initiative, solar paint, carbon free cement, all these things are costly right now. But that is again where CAs and the governance, the government policies, they'll all come into picture, because government is planning to provide subsidies to make these kind of initiatives popular, to provide incentives to these kind of startups also, so that all these things can be actually used by the public. So carbon free cement, the other terms are green finance. The concept of green finance is there. Green hydrogen is there. Sustainable construction is there. Then sustainability standards have been framed as like our auditing standards and accounting standards. So only we professionals will only be there, CAs, CS and CMAs and all, to familiarize everyone with these standards. Carbon free cement के लिए, I will give you an example which will show you the importance of professionals. So US में New Jersey is one of the first among the US states to pass a law to promote low carbon concrete use through business tax credits. So they've given tax credits for promoting low carbon concrete use. Then aim is to accelerate transition towards carbon neutrality, and the concretes that offer up to 25% less CO2 emissions. So this is how tax incentives and all will be given by the government in future. Then solar paint. So these are the types of solar paints that are available. But what will be the future of solar paint exactly? So they can be painted on vehicles also, like the auto rickshaws, all the public vehicles, the buses and trucks. So imagine if they're painted with that solar paint, and all that is able to harness the sun energy. So along with all the pollution that they are creating, they are also creating another source of energy for us. So this is how all these concepts will be helpful in the future for sustainability. What all professional opportunities we have? So there are sustainability consultants now. There are CSR program managers now. Policies developed. So you just saw the waste example. So all the policies that need to be framed for waste management, all the policies, other policies that need to be framed for all the ESG aspects. Then thought leadership, white papers and articles on ESG. Then the investment firms, because there are a lot of mutual funds, green debts, green securities. So all these have come up, and the investors also, they see the ESG aspect when they invest in a corporate now. So giving and aiding the investment firms to analyze these ESG risks for investment portfolios, this is another area of opportunity. Then ESG audits, obviously, the assurance, the ESG trainings, and ESG related legal issues. So, see, green bonds are there, and this is the this is a graph showing the GSS bonds issuance in India. In 2015, they started, and in 2021, it was the greatest because BRSR reporting started from this year. Then we have a lot of concepts, but I think we'll leave the rest of the time, last 5 minutes, for questions if we have. Otherwise, we'll discuss one another topic and close the session.
So there is one question in the chat box by Veena Rao. She is curious to know if there is any software available sector-wise or industry-wise for capturing such BRSR core data, the data which you are showing, the claim which is made by the companies.
Okay. So I not come across any industry specific software right now, but yes, there are a lot of other softwares which are working on specific areas. Like I came across a software called Digital Pani. It is working towards water management. So they measure the amount of water that is being consumed by a company, and then the water that goes into the recycling process, the water that is being reused, and then they suggest that how can you increase this reuse recycle process? Like how can your water be channelized into these cycles more? Water wastage can be minimized. And there are a lot of other softwares which are there for following the ESG standards. So our institute also, there's a sustainability SRSB, a Sustainability Responsibility Standard Board. Maybe I'm taking the full form wrong, but you can search for it. So the SRSB board committee of ISA has also framed some standards, and for following all these standards, softwares are being developed. Then there are softwares for pollution management. There are softwares for uh, reporting on POSH aspects. So these ways softwares are there, but any industry specific software I've not come across right now.
Okay. Thank you, Anushri, for answering. Then there is another question from Soumya. She is asking that how are the claims proved or quantified by the companies? That like we saw some of the examples shown by you, the claims those are made, how
Mhm.
it is audited. Relevant question for us being auditor.
Yeah, right. So, see, that was what I discussed that from 2023-24, the BRSR report, assurance on that report has started for some of the aspects. So it is reasonable assurance right now, and 23-24 was the first year when it started. From 24-25, limited assurance will start for the value chain aspect. And slowly it is expected that the assurance will be there for the whole BRSR report. Right now, it is not specified by SEBI that which kind of professionals will can give assurance. They just say experts can give assurance. So even the company secretaries, even the cost accountants and the chartered accountants, they are all into this field right now. But yes, when we think of assurance and the companies think of assurance, chartered accountants are the first one who come into their mind. So this is a good area to pick up. And the data for all these things has to be collected by the company. So, like when GST came up, many the big fours also and many other big firms they were already helping their big clients, the large corporate clients, to be GST ready for collecting GST data and for reporting GST data. So in the same way, there are a lot of organizations who are working towards making the entities ESG ready. Even the CA firms are working towards it, and the as consultants, and the agencies who are working in areas of waste management and all these things, pollution management, they are also being their services are also being taken by the companies.
Then the next question asked by Ritika, the one which I was about to ask, that how
Yes.
can we get a certificate for ESG? ICSI is conducting batches for ESG. Is it fruitful? And I will add
Yes,
something to this. Can you go back to the slide where you have shared the opportunities in ESG for professionals, Anushri?
yes, I'll just go back. Yes.
Yeah. So when we talk about the opportunities, professional opportunities, two things we got to know is one is assurance and another one was limited assurance. Then there are other things as well, training
Mhm.
and specialization. So if someone who is completely new, how to start and explore this area, new and lucrative, because hearing this from last 1 year, even the seminars conducted by the home branch. So what is your opinion and suggestion for someone who is interested to pursue this?
Okay. So, first of all, regarding the course started by the CA Institute on BRSR. That is a good course. It is a certificate course, and it is online batches are also there, and offline batches are also there, and they are being conducted regularly, like every month or in every 2 months or so. You will notice some batch starting, so you can definitely do that course. It is helpful, and the faculties are also most of them are good, and it will give you the whole, the background material by ICI on ESG. That is also very good. So it will give you a good comprehensive picture on what ESG is all about and what you can do about it. Then the opportunities in this area are, if you are in industry and if you are in job, then all the large corporates, they already have a position for all these things, for ESG audit also, for a sustainability consultant also, for policy development also. And if you are a sole practitioner or a partnership firm, then you can, start with writing with all these things, like first of all, you can learn about the concept of ESG through various courses. Then you can, start writing articles. You can start taking seminars. You can be a faculty with the institute. Then you can, design training programs and you can start training people. So this is how you will create awareness about ESG, and then you can collaborate with the investment firms. This is how you can go into the legal field also, because when all these things happen, then certainly the cases also come up.
Thank you, Anushri, for answering it step by step. Another question is from Meenu Dhal. She is asking that suggest some renowned group or network of CA or other ESG professional which we can join to avail these professional opportunities.
Okay, so I think first of all, LinkedIn is a very good platform. There are a lot of ESG related groups on LinkedIn. You can follow all those groups, and every day a lot of ESG articles, lot of news related to ESG, the policies and initiatives taken by the government of India. They're all shared in these groups. You can read from them. You can start learning from them, and through those only you will see certain professionals posting on them, so you will be able to connect to them. Then on WhatsApp also there are a lot of groups related to ESG. You can join them. Then uh, Yeah, so WhatsApp and LinkedIn are good platforms. Then you can connect with the institute also when you do the certificate course. Then you can connect with the faculties and all. And apart from the institute's course, if you look at the international front, then GRI is like one of the global standards which all the companies are following. Like if it is an MNC, so instead of just following the Indian standards framed by SRSB of ICI and just following the Indian like in audit and all, we follow the Indian gap. So GRI is one such global standard that all the MNCs are following for ESG reporting. So there are courses related to GRI also, Global Reporting Initiative. So you can do a course on GRI. Then one thing, COP29 is a summit which is happening in Baku, Azerbaijan right now. You can follow updates related to that. So COP29 is a very good summit. It is a global summit in which most of the countries are participating. Even India is participating, and all these organizations like CII, Confederation of Indian Industries, PhD, CCI, and this ASSOCHAM is there, ASSOCHAM. So all these industry associations, they're all participating in COP29 and they are representing India over there. So all these summits and conferences relating to ESG, you can participate in them. You can find networking opportunities over there.
So many ways and groups and insight added, Anushri, I must say. Then there was a question about Friday Fleet by Aarti. What is Friday Fleet? Anything related to ESG? Um, Friday Fleet is an initiative for females. Those have, in words of respected CA Dr. Rajkumar Adukia sir, whose thought is those female who are having fire in their belly to do something extraordinary in their life. So here we fortnightly we discuss topic related to self-help, growth, as well as technical topics. So this is what Friday Fleet is. It is not specifically for ESG, Aarti. Uh, okay. Um, Meenu is thanking you. And one question is again from Aarti. I think this is already answered by Anushri. Social impact, how to be assessed. We have answered it already, right, Anushri?
Yes. And if regarding any of the things you need to connect offline, so these are my details. We can always connect.
Yeah, and we are receiving a request to for this PPT. So, Anushri, it would be great if you will share this PPT in our group. Even I am also interested to have this.
Sure, I'll share that.
Okay. So one last call. If anyone is having any query, they can write in the chat box or they can unmute themselves and speak. Okay. Okay. So many gratitude messages we are receiving in our chat box, and same is the feeling with me also. So I have attended quite a few sessions in the past, offline, online, on ESG, and today's session was addition in my information about the topic. Thank you to our speaker, C. Anushri Garg, for putting her time and her knowledge and experience and sharing with all of us. Last but not the least, thank you to all the participants for being here, for enriching their knowledge. With that, we will sign off for today. Till the time we'll meet next. Thank you. Good day.
Thank you all.